Welcome to Park Bench Interviews, hosted by Randy Goodman, Harvey Callis Real Estate, your real estate professional. Get to know our community, our businesses, products, and services that will elevate your life. Please welcome your hostess, Randy Goodman.
Randy here from Harvey Callis Real Estate, and I'm super excited to be chatting with Janette Burke, who you may already know because she's a huge TV personality. She is a media personality, mentor, and trainer, and I can't wait to hear all about it. Thank you, Janette, for being on here with me.
Well, thank you, Randy, for the invitation to be here. It's an absolute pleasure.
Well, I think I'm more thrilled, but we're going to be able to share you with the whole community out there. So I'm really excited. So first, tell us a little bit about what do you do? Because I know you wear a few hats.
I do, but they're intertwined. So what I do basically is I'm the executive producer, host, and creator of the award-winning TV show, online TV show, Janette's TV, which are now in season 9. We have the spin-off Janette's TV podcast, which we just started about a month and a half ago, and thank God it's doing very well. Nice. And then we have the division of my mentoring and training, which is media mentoring and presentation, performance, and communications training, which is under the banner Janette's Trade Secrets, media mentoring and training. So I train you to be on camera, whether that's for videos, media interviews, pod or webcasts, or lives, Facebook lives, Instagram, whatever. Okay. I also train you to be on stage if you're doing virtual, solo, panel speaking, or even preparing for a TED Talk. Oh. And you can take these skills that I give you and apply them to better interpersonal communications when dealing with prospective clients, sponsors, investors, and of course, staff. So basically, it's all intertwined. I teach you how to get into the media and get more media coverage and be good when you're there. Mm-hmm. And I also teach you how to be better when you're speaking and when you're presenting. So it's all part and parcel of the same thing. And of course, the show has been, as I said, around for 9 seasons, over 450 aired episodes.
Wow.
And we cater to, women and smart men, 30 to 55 worldwide. The audience has built up to over 5 million. We're close almost to, thank God, we're going closer to 10. And that's like my whole following, like all my social media, plus my YouTube, plus my mailing list combined. So I built that in 9 years.
Wow.
Yeah, a lot of work, but yeah, I'm happy I did it. Because obviously when I left studios, I wasn't allowed to take anything with me, like no viewers, nothing. So we started from scratch. And
hard work.
Thank you. Yeah, I couldn't do it without my team. I have a team that helps me, but I was just going to say that we have that following. We cater to women 30 to 55 and smart men. We are a lifestyle show online. Okay. And we also feature celebrities, like top name celebrities from Hollywood, but also celebrities in other fields. So thought leaders, game changers, and experts on a variety of topics that pertain to lifestyle issues for women and smart men in that target demographic of 30 to 55. So nice. That's what I do. And I'm happy to present issues, personal and professional issues that impact people's lives and have them get some perspective from our guests, hopefully a takeaway that they can apply in their life to make a difference or a change or what have you.
Well, I love that, Janette. And, I really want to know, because you have like a nice realm of media things that you do, not only to share with the public, but also helping other people to be able to do the same kind of thing or whatever way they wish to do it. And you're, of course, sharing this information so that you can help people. So I love that whole, piece about you. Can you tell us what led you to get there? Were you always in the media? Did you do something different before? Like, what led you here?
Okay. So it's interesting. When I was growing up, I used to ask a lot of questions. And I was told, why don't you go be a lawyer? Because I really
Right.
wanted to be an actress from the time I was 3. But then, I was told, why don't you go be a lawyer? Because I have Jewish parents and they wanted to make sure I had a living and that I wasn't going to be, mooching off them for the rest of my life. So I was actually headed towards law school, and I had an undergraduate degree in political science and economics. But I never really enjoyed the law thing because it wasn't
Right.
what I thought it was going to be.
Okay.
And then my mother would say to me, you would also make a very good journalist. And I believed that. However, at the time when I was going through university, I was dissuaded from going into journalism because I was told that, journalism is a dying field because
Okay.
the internet's taking over. So maybe do something else. And that led me to PR, public and media relations marketing, which is basically journalism and marketing combined. So I did have that background. And
Okay.
I did take a course in that. I graduated from that with a PR, public and media relations marketing.
Okay.
That led me at a very young age to start Primetime PR, which was my first business. And that was a boutique PR company. And I did it for many, 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 many years.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? I started to resent it because it wasn't really my true love, even though I was good at it.
Okay.
And what happened was, out of that business, I sort of became the overseer for media strategy and media pitches and media materials. And then I had a girl working for me that would take my strategies and pitch our client to the media to get them print, radio, TV, internet, whatever we could get
Okay.
them in any combination, because I didn't like that part.
Okay.
So I realized when I split out the business and I start focusing on devising the strategies and the materials, and I also start working with my clients in a sort of a mentoring, coaching, consulting capacity,
Mm-hmm.
where I was the one preparing them to go to a media interview or be
Okay.
interviewed. And I was also the one preparing them to have a better speech when they went on stage. So I started to realize, there's another business here. And at the same time that all this was happening, I was being invited to speak and present at all kinds of organizations around the Greater Toronto area,
Right.
as well as at the Learning Annex.
Okay.
And I was also given many media opportunities to be interviewed and to have my own column for 4 years running in what was the York Region Business Times. It no longer exists, but I had like a full page front or back cover for 4 years
Wow.
straight.
Okay. That's awesome.
Thank you. So I was getting invited to be a guest on other people's shows. And what happened out of that was I was then offered a permanent segment on a show out of that channel. And I know you know, because we had you on. I was offered a permanent segment on a show first for I had a marketing segment. That show left that channel. And when they left, that channel the main flagship show, which was called Liquid Lunch, asked me to come as a co-host.
Okay.
And do this once a month for an hour plus my segment. And I did that for 2 years. And I recall interviewing you at one time on that.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
So when I started to do that and all those media placements, I realized, my true love has always been educating, presenting, what have you, in front of the camera, not behind it.
Right.
So I kind of had to regroup on that, and I decided right then and there that it was time for me to pick up my socks and really pursue what I loved, because it was aching in my heart not doing it.
Right.
And that eventually led me to another network where I started my own show. And I wasn't ready for my own show, I thought. But it happened November 28, 2011. I started with something called Janette's I'm Every Woman TV. And it was very female focused. And I did that for a long time. And in fact, until probably 9 months ago, where I rebranded it to just Janette's TV.
Okay.
So, and that's how it happened for me. I moved from behind the camera to in front of it.
Right.
And I did something else. And that was because I had that PR background mixed with the journalism and the
Yep.
marketing.
Yep.
And I also had a very strong business acumen from growing up in a business family.
Right.
I was the first one to take my skills and develop a package for other people so that when they were being interviewed in the media, whether it was my show or somebody else's show, it wasn't just about having an interview. It was more about having a strategic marketing plan that involved media and PR.
Okay.
So I was the first to actually train them to go to prepare to go to the interview. And that meant looking at their message and developing their talking points or sound bites so that the message would get out in a proper way.
Right.
As opposed to just spewing everything there is to say about the business and being remembered for like nothing.
Right.
And you know, I was working heavy duty with them on the messaging, the scripting, the branding, the imaging, right? Because there's all these nonverbal cues when you do speaking and media interviewing that many business owners, whether they're this is who I work with, CEOs, executives, professionals, entrepreneurs, sales agents, they don't realize this, right? They don't take these things into account. Mm-hmm. And then they wonder, well, why isn't my media and speaking engagements working for me to get me business? Right. And so one of the things that they wouldn't look at is the non-verbal cues, like your body language, your pacing, your voice techniques, your breathing, how to use a teleprompter. And these are all the things that I consult on, mentor and train. And I would do that first because my contention was, of course, I did have a PR background. So my contention was that if you really want media and speaking to work for you as a strategic marketing move, then you got to play it correctly, right? So that meant getting prepared first. And I'm very much a stickler for that. And then you go to the interview, which is what we call the shoot in technical terms, or the filming of an interview. So, but that's not enough. Then you got to be able to promote it, right? Because it's not going to work for you if nobody sees it. No video of any kind is going to work for you if nobody sees it. So there you need a strategy around that too. And I offered that too as part of a whole package. Right. So we did what we used to call prep, shoot, push. Okay. Right. We used to have that as an all-in-one package, and we did that. I was the only one who did it that way. I was the only one who put it together like that. And others tried to copy me afterwards. Right. But it was a comprehensive offer because I wanted it to work. I wanted it to be strategic. And I knew that when it came to each piece built on the other. And when we came to the push part or the promotion part, we had an extensive way of promoting you to make you news for more than a day. Right. We did it for 60 days, right? And we ran a giveaway for you so that you could collect some leads. Although we're not in the leads collection business, we're in the visibility exposure business, but we did that as an added bonus favor, right? Yeah. And so we try to make it work by putting these three things together. And as I said, I was the first one to put those three pieces together like that. Right. And now I've separated it. So now we have the consulting side and the TV side, but they still work hand in hand because Absolutely. You know, it makes for a better interview or better speaking experience.
So I love that. And this pertains to, like, you're mentioning all sorts of different types of businesses that could use this. So anyone who's looking to get exposure, whether it's television or radio or even just social media, right? If you're not looking for the big times and you're looking for, you know, even the smaller times, but just to be known, doing things like being on this website or being on other social media platforms, Janette, you're able to help them with whatever job it is, no matter how big or small, correct?
I am. And I want to just say today, because of the COVID-19 situation with many business owners, realizing, you know, we got to move our marketing online, right? And there could be some challenges around that if you are uncomfortable presenting on camera,
Right.
Because when you look at online marketing in the realm of social marketing or digital marketing, you cannot ignore camera, right?
Yep.
We talked about at the top of the segment, camera involves video, lives, virtual speaking, right? Or being interviewed like today on a web or podcast, or even it could be a traditional media show. They're also doing media interviews like this because they can't film in studio.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Whatever it is, you have to be prepared. So one of the things that I do in my training is first to make sure that you understand exactly how the media works and what it means to get media coverage. And how does that differ from advertising? Because it does. And how do you get in there? Like, do you have a storyline? Is it a good storyline, or is it basically an ad in disguise? Because if it is, I can tell you right now, garbage.
Right.
So, I try to make sure that we understand what your compelling hook angle spin is, and then how do you parlay that into a media pitch, which gets sent out to see if you're actually going to be granted a media interview in print, radio, or TV, or online, or pod, or webcast, right? There's a process to it. So that's one of my trainings. Then I have got that media training. I have got that media interview booked. Or I have got that big virtual speaking gig booked now because, I have to do it virtually because, no one's traveling. There's no industry conferences or events anymore.
Right.
And you got that big break, but you don't know what to do with it because you're nervous because you're not used to using virtual technology and camera to make it work. Right. So I have a 1 hour package, which is a session just to work with you for that gig, whatever that gig is or whatever that engagement is, to get you ready to go and to give you feedback and whatever, get you ready. So make sure that you make the most of it and you do not waste that opportunity, right? Because
I love that.
You waste one, you might waste 50 more because no one maybe will book you after that, right?
Exactly. So
I have that. And then I have the presentation and performance mastery, which is the 6+ modules to make you really good on camera and stage, which also happen to be great if you want to be engaging with prospective clients, sponsors, investors, staff. And those 6 modules include things like your messaging, your scripting for a promo video, using a teleprompter, your body image, your voice techniques, your image, your makeup, your hair, like all of it.
Right. That's awesome. Okay, so are there any tips that you can give people like while they're at home? Because a lot of people can't open their stores right now, or they can't have their businesses running right now, and they're sitting at home and maybe wondering, well, what can I be doing with my business? Do you have any suggestions for them?
Yes. Well, I would say first and foremost, you have the option of social media and online marketing. Mm-hmm. And that's really your biggest option right now. So I would say the first thing is devise a marketing plan for online marketing and look at what strategies within that big plan are doable and workable and sustainable that you can do like over and over and over again to get clients. So there are a lot of different aspects to online marketing. So you'd have to look at the whole gamut and see what works. So maybe it's on like email marketing is part of online marketing, video, obviously, posts, content and social, what you're thinking about, what you're putting out there, online website, landing pages, so on and so forth. There's a whole list. So I would look at the gamut and then from that choose at least 3 things that you can work over and over again that are good for you, right? Like maybe push you a little bit out of your comfort zone, but not to a point where you're not going to do it. Because like whether it's good times or bad times, consistency in marketing is what brings in the clients.
Right. Absolutely.
So, and then I would say, okay, look, video has to be a part of this, right? Because we can't ignore video today. It's too big. There with the lives and with the streaming, with online speaking opportunities, you cannot ignore it. So it's best to try and make video your friend. If you are afraid to be on camera, there are things that you can do to alter that. And it may be working with me, maybe not. The one thing that I will tell you is to start changing the way you think about it in your head. Because most of the time when people are afraid of being on camera, they are too committed to perfection. Like they're worried about what they're going to look like on camera.
Right.
When you want camera to work for you, you have to think about three things. What am I saying? Why am I saying it? And how do I look, so that you're not just picking up a camera and shooting and doing a disservice to your brand? Because the truth is that you are going to be looked at, and people are forming opinions as to whether or not they want to work with you or not. So you do have to still do your part to look your best and come off feeling comfortable and at ease.
And at the same time, be you, right?
Pardon?
And at the same time, be you.
No, be yourself. You can't be me. I can't be you.
I don't
you can't
mean
be me.
you. I mean, they should be themselves.
Yes, they should be themselves. But how to be yourself is knowing, like, make a little plan, a little script or an outline of what you're going to say. Don't just pick up the camera and go for it and wing it.
Like I do.
Take some effort to make yourself look presentable, even if it's just putting some brow pencil and some powder and some lipstick, if you don't want to do the whole gamut, right? The whole, like I smeared up, but I know how to put makeup on because my mother was a makeup artist. But if you're not comfortable with that, just do the basics, like some mascara, some brows, a little bit of lipstick, something that makes you look decent, and obviously fix your hair as best as possible. Then my other tip is, when you look at the camera, a lot of people get tripped up with looking at the camera because they're not used to seeing themselves on camera. If you would just think of the camera as a friend or a mother, your mother, that you're just having a conversation with, like you and I are just having a conversation, and just remember, this is the camera eye. Pretend you're talking to one person. Even if there's hundreds of thousands of other people listening, it's one person, and it's much more relatable, and you come off much more authentic. You can also see, I'm pointing to the eye of the camera here, whether it's here or on your cell phone. You put like maybe a little sticky note, like in a color. Put it there, and that will remind you to look at the camera when you're talking to an audience.
Yeah, good idea.
However, we are also talking, because you are interviewing me, right? And the mark of a good interview, wherever it's on, like even on Zoom, is that once in a while we take our eyes away from the audience to engage with the interviewer, which is you. So notice how I'm going here and then I'm going here, just to make you part of the conversation, because I'm interacting with you, and then I'm going back over here. Right?
Sure.
And these are just some simple things that will get you comfortable being on film or on camera. And then, you know what? It's practice. Practice makes perfect.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for those tips, Janette. So tell us a little bit, like before we go to our sign off, tell us a little bit of how you give back to the community, because this is a community site and we want to hear about, the special things that you do. So give us a little bit.
I have always been a big believer in giving back, because I was raised in a family that gave back a lot. So for me, helping the community, every week when I do any kind of groceries, even if I order online, I try to give some kind of food or money for people to eat with, because they have to eat, right? And especially now, we have some very vulnerable people in society, like our homeless people, who not only do not have a bed or a home to go to, they don't know where their next meal is coming from, and they're actually also at very high risk for catching COVID. So I try to make sure that those particular charities that sponsor or cater to the homeless have something, that a donation or something where they have a bed or can get into a hotel room or something like that.
Right.
Another thing that I like to do is help the elderly, because right now, again, very vulnerable segment of society is our elders, are, and I unfortunately don't have any grandparents left. They've all passed, but even when my grandparents were alive, I used to make time just to spend with them, and they were in a home, and I used to go and give them things. And like, for example, even like for Valentine's Day or any kind of holiday, but I'll just tell you, for Valentine's Day, my grandparents were in home and they were in the same room, and I used to go and buy like little chocolate and gifts and cards and sign it from each other and give it to each other just so they would remember.
Nice.
Or like that she was in a different room, I would wheel her in to see my grandpa, you know, things like that. So now today they have these services where you can volunteer to talk to older people in the like in the equivalent of an old folks home or an adult living care where you can't go in and see them, but you can talk to them, you can FaceTime them. That's really important because they really need to know that they are not alone, right? They're very isolated. They're very lonely. I also want to make sure that they're being fed, right? Because they have to eat to be healthy. And so these are just some of the things I do to give back. I also just, I mean, I don't have time to do everything because my life is, like you, very busy. So I have to pick and choose. But sometimes I know I just send a donation.
Yep. Listen, any little thing that we can do makes an impact, you know, whether you have the time to do it personally or whether it's sending money or food or whatever it is, clothes and whatnot. It's important. Every little bit helps. So thank you so much for being a part of the community that way, Janette, and giving back, and for all the tips and all the information you were sharing with us, because I know a lot of business owners at home are really, you know, confused and not sure what they can do, but they can continue to be active and promote their businesses, even though you might be closed right now. So Janette, if anybody wants to work with you, what's the website that they can find you at?
Okay, so my website is www.Janette, which is JANETTE, Burke, BURKE.com. And we are in the midst of changing the current website there. It's going to be a whole new site with all my new offerings up in 2 weeks. So it is going to be the same URL, but what you see now isn't what you're going to see, and the new stuff is obviously going to be the best stuff. So that's how you can find me, and you can also, you know, reach out to me via phone or text 416-802-0655. Again, 416-802-0655. I'm very active on all social media platforms. I can be found on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Pinterest, Instagram, YouTube, you name it, I'm there. And there's like,
you're the media lady. So.
Yeah. So there's like an inbox, like Facebook Messenger me, you know, whatever. Like,
but we're going to have all your links on the page, so they'll easily be able to find you.
Yeah, and you can also email me, and that is Janette, JANETTE, and I spell it because my name is spelled different than what most people say for Janette. So JANETTE at JanetteBurke.com is my email address.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. And thank you so much for sharing with us today, Janette.
Okay, thank you so much. I just want to say to everyone, be well, be safe. And I know we're all in this together. We're all going through this together. So don't give up and just do whatever you can to keep promoting your business and, you know, get sales or whatever. Or, you know, if you give up, then you won't have a business. So you have to keep going no matter what.
Love that. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much, Randy. Thank you very much. I really appreciate this.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for listening to this interview hosted by Randy Goodman. We hope you will take action and connect with the incredible business people and leaders in our community. And remember, Randy is always here to answer any questions you have regarding your real estate needs. Be sure to register on the website and stay up to date on what's happening in your area at parkbench.com/millpond.